never got lucky one time. It's crazy world.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music. I'm excited to review this one, Tom. It's the new album from the band The Roots called Undun. It's their 11th album. This is a rap, hip-hop group that they use a full band that to make their sound, which is just that just sounds awesome.
More
to me
people need to do that.
Right.
It sounds great, and I mean these guys rarely put out anything bad. Never. I mean, they're solid band.
And in 2010 they came out with How I Got Over, which I loved. I absolutely adored that.
One of our favorite releases.
It was very good. Probably my favorite hip hop release of last year. This album, you know, takes that. You know, they were experimenting with How I Got Over. They had some more indie songs. You know, they referenced that Dear God from Monsters of Folk. You know, and you know, a lot of more indie influences in the general music and the sound. They take that same style and going forward with with Undun. Undun is a concept record about Redford Stevens, this character that they made that is actually based off of a Sufjan Stevens song, and they actually sample or use a Sufjan Stevens little piano interlude thing on this on Undun. So the whole concept is this: here's this Redford Stevens guy who's, you know, growing up in or experiencing and living in, you know, kind of urban poverty and the societal issues that go around with that. That's the concept of this record, and they structured it as a concept album. They have done it kind of, I think, kind of works in reverse. There's some crazy stuff going on with the story, but it starts with essentially what you need to know is it starts with a kind of instrumental introduction, and then there's like a 4-piece, 1-minute or average tracks at the end of just kind of instrumental. So it's meant to be a concept record that you think about, that is something that you play from start to finish. This guy loves stuff like that, so I was inherently intrigued to hear this awesome, you know, rap group, you know, doing a concept record like this. I was very intrigued. Now, Tom, help me describe some of the tracks, because the girth of this album is really just this middle. There's this middle group of songs here that I think are very strong Roots songs. But as far as fitting with this overall concept, that adds a whole nother element to trying to analyze this thing, because I actually got where this is a concept record, and you know, it's supposed to be bringing up all these issues and making you think and stuff. I actually felt like How I Got Over and some of the Roots' previous albums engaged me a little bit more, as far as just thinking about the, you know, using the lyrics to draw up the listener's views on you know, societal issues like poverty and racism and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, what it seems to me here is that they went with the bulk of the focus of the album is meant to be this theme, because I find that actually a lot of the beats and even some of the rapping is quite minimalistic. You know, they're never going a mile a minute with the movement in the rap itself. I mean, a lot of times it's actually fairly slow. You know, it builds up a nice groove, which is, you know, something these guys have always been good at. It's a lot easier to build up a natural groove when you have a real band and not a drum machine going right on beat all the time. You know, I mean, it just works better. That's the way that your mind is naturally accustomed to interpreting and making music. So I've always loved that more organic approach to the Roots. Now they're still able to make the sounds very sharp. You know, you get the real elements, but you still get the, you know, kind of classic hip-hop synthesized elements in here too. But, you know, it makes it so there's not a lot of little things to focus on. I mean, every now and then there is, but even when you get to the end of the album and you have these like orchestral and kind of classical movements that are more metaphorical, I guess, kind of representing this story and how it comes to a close, then, I mean, still, it's not huge orchestral arrangements. Usually it's just a kind of a few instruments at a time. And I like that approach to it, but I wish then that the theming would have filled it out even more. That's what I found myself wanting more of. I love the sound. I mean, the rapping, the lyrics are good, but I just feel like they don't quite reach what they were shooting for with this monster of a concept.
Right. It's a big concept, and the problem with any time you do do a big concept like this, or especially when you couple it with a kind of a grand album structure as they've done here, it draws the listener's attention. I mean, you're paying a little bit closer attention. You're not just experiencing it, but you're paying attention, trying to figure it out. And when you draw your attention to that, if the quality doesn't match the concept, typically you get a big road bump there. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword when you do a big concept like this. I think that that's what makes masterpieces is when you have, you know, this giant scope and you're willing to go out there, you know, and do something like The Hazards of Love by the Decemberists or 9 Inch Nails is the Downward Spiral. When you're willing to make a big infuse concept into a record, that's what really allows the record to kind of transcend the boundaries of music. These guys are attempting to do that. I just feel like they fell a little short. I don't feel like it ever really accomplishes that specifically in the lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's the thing that frustrates me about it, is that while this still is a really good rap album, I think that by focusing it specifically on one fictional character, making this kind of archetype of the criminalized black youth, they actually make it less relatable than if they had just gone for a general idea and made more general statements about the world.
Yep. To me, I'm kind of left in the middle of this one. I love the middle section of this album where the roots are just being the roots, but, you know, when you start analyzing the lyrics and, you know, gets away from the concept I didn't feel like really worked out for him, which makes all the instrumental tracks kind of seem, you know, less valuable to me in relation to the album. I feel like the girth is in the middle, and that's where I really felt like this album kicked some butt. So I kind of discounted a little bit from that. So I'm going to go with 73.
I'm going to go 74.
Cool. What did you guys think of Undun? Did you feel like that they accomplished creating this character and this concept worked, or were you like us and a little bit more critical of how they executed this grand concept? Would you like to see the Roots stick to the traditional format or more concept work in the future? Let us know at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. Please follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and please keep watching. And thanks for watching VIMTV. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
I'm in a double G, 3-piece tux, screaming dressed to kill, hope somebody